Good morning, good morning. Shabbat shalom, Mishpachah, Shabbat shalom. Daniel Taylor, good morning. Tamara, good morning. David, Eric, Sheila, Ellis. Yeah, I think I said that right. Good morning, you guys. All right, so we are on day 4, Isaiah chapter 4. Cassandra, good morning. I was really bummed out because there's only 6 verses in this chapter. It's like, how does that work? I get that in Psalms and stuff, but in something like Isaiah, I don't know. It just seems like they would have either fitted in at the end of 3 or at the beginning of 5. I mean, it's 6 verses, and I looked at the end of 3, and it could definitely go there, and I looked at the end of 5, and it could have gone there, but whatever, right? So we'll praise Yah. All right, so here we go. In that day, 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. In that day, the branch of Yehovah shall be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and appealing for those of Israel who have escaped. And it shall come to pass that he who is left in Zion and remains in Jerusalem will be called holy. Everyone who is recorded among the living in Jerusalem, when Yehovah has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and purged the blood of Jerusalem from her midst by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning, then Yehovah will create above every dwelling place of Mount Zion and above her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For over all the glory there will be a covering, and there will be a tabernacle for shade in the daytime from the heat, for a place of refuge, and for a shelter from storm and rain. Now, most of us and most people who study Isaiah, I think there's a pretty common consensus on believing that Isaiah is all prophetic of the future, whether it be millennial reign or maybe even, final new heaven and new earth, right? Mostly millennial reign, I would dare to say. What I find interesting in this, so now the first part, in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own food and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by your name to take away our reproach. It's that, I think there's multiple paths we can go with that discussion, but one thing that stands out is, I think it's that desire of not wanting to be placed in the category of that harlotry that has always been and what has gotten Israel in trouble all along. But that it's like they're crying out to a sense of, okay, we'll take care of our food, our apparel. Please let us be by your name. Let our reproach be removed, and basically let us be restored. It's a concept of, with us to Yeshua, that only by him, by his name, are we able to have our reproach removed and to be delivered and to be among him. But what I do find very interesting is these last few verses. So in that day, the branch of Yehovah shall be beautiful and glorious, and the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and appealing for those of Israel who have escaped. All right, so what does that mean? Now, are we talking about the remnant of escape? Those who, and I honestly believe that this is reference of entering into millennial reign. So I, to me, and this is my opinion, to me it would not make sense if it's referencing to the new heaven and new earth time frame. All right, but so for those who have escaped, it could be a twofold or one or the other. Either those who are remnant of escape that Jehovah has kept safe in the wilderness during the time of tribulation, as we see in Revelation 12, as Matthew 24 references in verse 15, 16. They for those who the fruit of the earth shall be excellent and appealing for those of Israel who have escaped, could be those who continue on in the flesh, who did not have Messiah, but are that remnant that Yah keeps safe into millennial reign to restore the tribes, the two houses, all that stuff, right? And it shall come to pass that he who is left in Zion and remains in Jerusalem will be called holy, everyone who is recorded among the living in Jerusalem. So that would, right there, would give me the inclination to think that that's who it's talking about. Because the other aspect is for those who have escaped, we know that then there are us, the saved, the saints, who at the coming of Yeshua, whether alive or dead, will be caught up in the air with him. And we will escape all of this, right? But because of what the following verses says, this is why I would be inclined to believe it's talking about the remnant of escape, because it says, everyone who is recorded among the living in Jerusalem. We know that in the tribulation, many are going to die. We know that the city is going to be tore apart by earthquakes and all kinds of destruction during the tribulation period. We know that, and not to mention what's going to happen when Yeshua steps down on the Mount of Olives and it splits and rips right through the middle of Jerusalem from east to west. Anybody who's ever been in the land, the Mount of Olives is straight east of Mount Moriah, or the Temple Mount, and the old city of David, and and then you got Jerusalem all the way out and heading west and all around and everything else. And there's a fault line that has been found east and west in the middle of the Mount of Olives. And Yah is going to trigger that fault line that he put there for that very reason. And so it says, again, and it shall come to pass that he who is left in Zion and remains in Jerusalem will be called holy, everyone who is recorded among the living in Jerusalem. When Jehovah has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and purged the blood of Jerusalem from her midst by the spirit of judgment, by the spirit of burning. Okay, so what does that mean? Let's go to, man, praise Yah, he's just like giving me this as we go along here, because I did not think about any of this a minute ago. Let's go to Zechariah 14. This just hit me. Okay, so he's going to purge and he's going to burn with judgment, right? So if we go to Zechariah 14, anybody who studies end time prophecy knows that Zechariah 14 is the first 4 verses gives a quick picture of, I believe to be the Battle of Armageddon. Jerusalem is divided. And then Yehovah steps down on the Mount of Olives, Yehovah Yeshua, okay? And then everything after verse 4 is everything that follows Yeshua stepping down on the Mount of Olives. Let's see. Okay, so find it here real quick. must have went too far. My apologies. I don't know why I'm brain pausing here. See, I have it highlighted in my Bible, so I would have went right to it. But there's a specific thing I'm looking for right here. Am I in the right chapter? Okay, yeah. Here we go. All right, so Zechariah 14, starting at verse 11. The people shall dwell in it, and no longer shall there be utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall be safely inhabited. And this is all after everything is going on. And it shall be the plague with which Jehovah will strike all the people who fought against Jerusalem. Now, remember, in chapter 4 of Isaiah, he's saying he's going to purge all the blood and everything with judgment and with fire, or, yeah. So it says, and this shall be the plague with which Jehovah will strike all the people who fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall dissolve while they stand on their feet. Their eyes shall dissolve in their sockets. Their tongue shall dissolve in their mouths. It shall come to pass in that day that a great panic from Jehovah will be among them. Everyone will seize the hand of his neighbor and raise his hand against his neighbor's hand. All right, so let's go back to Isaiah 4. So again, and it shall come to pass, verse 3, that he who is left in Zion and remains in Jerusalem will be called holy, everyone who is recorded among the living in Jerusalem. That's after the fact. When Jehovah has washed away the filth of the daughters of Zion and purged the blood of Jerusalem from her midst by the spirit of judgment and by the spirit of burning, then Jehovah will create above every dwelling place of Mount Zion and above her assemblies a cloud and smoke by day and the shining of a flaming fire by night. For over all the glory there will be a covering, and there will be a tabernacle for shade in the daytime from the heat, for a place of refuge, for a shelter from storm and rain. I don't know. So I think that's interesting how the two there can connect. I don't declare that to be the situation, but I mean, to me, this seems very clear to be the restoring of Israel, the restoring of Zion, the restoring of the houses of Israel, the two sticks, everything after Yeshua has purged it all, purged the blood, and by from her midst, by his spirit of judgment and by his spirit of burning. And you even have another reference to that when in First Thessalonians, First Thessalonians, second. I think it's Second Thessalonians, verse chapter 2. Yeah, Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. And then the lawless one will be revealed when Jehovah will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. Now, it's not like it's going to be some bright light kind of thing. I mean, the intensity of the heat, I would imagine that will come off of that. It's not like it's just going to be a blinding light. It says he's going to be consumed. Fire consumes. And so I think all that correlates together. I don't know, but I think it gives for interesting discussion to put those together like that. But of course, the finality of it is forever under his covering from then on and protected. And that's what we look forward to. Amen, Mishpachah. So praise Yah, because that chapter turned into more discussion than I was thinking it would be when I started. So praise Yah, those verses came to mind. But Mishpachah, I just pray that today, this set apart holy day of Yehovah, may your thoughts, may your focus, may everything be on him. Do not let your life or the world distract you today, Mishpachah, but be focused. Set aside all the things. Give him your whole attention. Do not look for ways to do your own things or your own pleasures, but Mishpachah, really, really, truly set yourself aside. Be set apart unto him today. Be with the bridegroom today. Watch him, pray to him, sing unto him, dance before his throne, make a joyful noise unto him. Let your hands raise up in praise as the evening sacrifice. Let your praise raise up before him as the sweet incense. And may everything that we say and do today, may it bring honor and glory to his name and not profane his name. And may we put a smile on the face of our Savior. Amen. So I love you all, Mishpachah. I hope you have a great rest of your Shabbat. And there's nothing else. So Yah willing, of course, pending the world ending or something silly, I'll see you all tomorrow morning. Shalom, shalom, Shabbat shalom. Oh, we'll see you guys this afternoon for the live message. So looking forward to it. Shalom, shalom.